Good, really good. Enjoyed hitting that. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We're going to take a look in this video with the new Ping G425, and it's the crossover, and probably what I would say is the best looking crossover I've seen Ping produce. So really excited to give this a hit and a test. I've got a 2-iron, which is one of my favorite irons in the golf bag. So really, again, excited to hit this. And we're going to do that. I've got TrackMan on the floor, as always, provide you with some feedback of the looks, the feel, and how this sort of club performs. And possibly is this something that you might go and put in the bag yourself. Okay, so G425 crossover, a utility iron, becoming very popular nowadays. A bit of a, exactly like the name says, to be honest, like a crossover between that long iron and that hybrid. So you're getting a bit of that slightly beefed up iron look. So you're getting that little bit of forgiveness of that crossover, that hybrid. A little bit higher launching than a traditional iron, which are obviously always very tough to hit themselves. So what I probably want you to do first is just put a comment in the section down below there. Are you a hybrid golfer, or are you more of a utility iron golfer? I'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe the reasons as to why you're putting that club in the bag. Okay, so typically, as I say, this will create a slightly more lower launch maybe than a hybrid, but obviously a little bit more forgiving than a traditional sort of long iron. So Ping is sort of saying this is now creating a little bit of higher launch, a little bit faster on that ball speed, and it's obviously now in a stealth look. It's that hydro pearl finish, so that water dispersing across that club face, any moisture between club head and golf ball, it's going to get dispersed, so helping with friction, helping with a little bit of consistency of that ball speed. But as I say, first impressions from previous crossovers, which I would always say were frankly quite ugly in a way. They did a job, you know, they did a performance, but they were just, you know, I put them in golfers' hands and they just went, what the heck is that? That's horrendous. And it was a bit of an ugly looking thing. This, on the other hand, is completely different. And I would say the best looking crossover they've done. Very much slimmed up. You just see a fraction of that back section sticking out, but because it's black, it's not very noticeable at all. So it does look a nice, neat appearance behind that golf ball, even though we have got a bit of forgiveness and a bit of meat behind the ball in a way. Okay, so as I say, got 2-iron here, 18 degrees. Let's get this first one here. Okay, and that was quite nice. It wasn't the perfect of strikes, but that's flown out pretty nice and neutral. This flight that I would sort of expect from this type of club. Yeah, I just caught that mat a little bit. You see that spin's a little bit low there. It's just dropped out of the sky. I didn't quite get that perfect on the strike. That's a nice shot. Lovely flight on that. A little bit of a higher flight, slightly better strike than that first shot there. So you could probably just see, yeah, a lot more distance there, 238 carry. I'd expect to sort of get it around that sort of 230 on the fly mark, maybe edging 240 with some really good strikes. I mean, it is a very cold day here at Penrith Golf Club, so I'm probably not firing all 4 cylinders. That's lovely. Yeah, so I'm probably just seeing that, as I explained before, that nice penetrating flight there, but it's just that bit lower than what I'll probably see with a hybrid. Hybrid would probably just tend to maybe just climb a little bit more on its actual flight. So for me, these sort of clubs are great options off the tee. That's where I would always use this a lot. You know, maybe those tighter par 4s where you just want to try and get a little bit more of that accuracy that you typically would get with an iron. Maybe if it's a bit windy, so possibly if you're playing at more of a link style golf course or a windy golf course, you want to just get that flight a little bit more penetrating. Fantastic option again for those without sacrificing a lot of forgiveness. As I say, you go into a traditional 2-iron, it's much harder. Oh, it's more punishing, should I say, on those mishits. That's lovely. I'm probably going to say it's not the best feeling golf club there. It's a little bit, I'm going to use the word clunky. just on that sound, it's not the most soft, buttery sort of feel, but then again, it's not a forged club, is it? You know, it's got that hollow construction, so we are going to hear that slightly higher pitched acoustics to this type of club. So, but I think that's maybe something you would probably maybe get over if that does bother you. I think it just looks great behind the ball. I like how it's sort of now stealth blacked out and the grooves are all sort of grey. Very much frames that golf ball. Much neater, much better looking golf club than the previous crossovers by a long way. And that's a good example. That wasn't a great strike. That's a little bit off that toe. It's just moved up the right fraction. It'll be interesting to look at. Ball speed there, 138. Wasn't too bad there. 228 on the carry. So obviously that first shot you can see was the worst strike where I caught a bit of the mat first. So that wasn't bad. Again, that's a really good example that from a traditional iron to a crossover, bit more forgiveness. So this crossover compared to the previous model, Ping are now saying the face is now 7% thinner. So obviously we're going to see a little bit more flexing. Again, that's maybe helping with that ball speed across the club face. And they're also saying it's a much more inertia in this, so it's more forgiving. Again, those missed hits, probably like that last example there, just creates a little bit less twisted. So again, it's all around that forgiveness levels. That's good, really good. Enjoyed hitting that. I think that's a really good addition. As I say, the sound's probably not ideal for me. It's a little bit loud, a little bit clunky on that sort of sound, and maybe just the feel of the club, but the looks wise, big tick from Ping there. They've made that a really good looking golf club. So I think, you know, again, I think that could be a good option for certain golfers who maybe don't quite get on with the hybrids, but just need that little bit of help in those longer irons. Crossover G425. So post comments down below. That seems to be giving me some decent numbers there on the good strikes, getting up to that sort of high 230s on the carry distance. The flight is exactly where I'd sort of want it. So availability on these, we've got a 2-iron, a 3-iron and a 4-iron offering. So obviously it's a replacement for those long irons there, isn't it? So you've got those options of 2, 3 or 4-iron. As always, we've seen with the previous reviews I've done on the G425, now comes a standard with the Arcos in the grip. So again, you can do your tracking on the golf course, see how that sort of performs, get some averages of distance, your sort of patterns that you're seeing when you're out playing on the golf course. So that's always a good addition as well. As standard, come in the graphite shaft. There is a few options there. Obviously, you've got different grip options as well. So as always, my message to you guys will be to go and test these, go and get fitted and see if this is hitting, number one, a number that you maybe want to sort of see in that gap in through your bag, and also is it a flight that you're sort of maybe wanting for certain holes on the golf course where maybe you would play. Okay, thanks so much for watching the video. As always, appreciate you watching it. If you've enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up, give it a like button, and if you haven't subscribed, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you will not miss a future video. As soon as it lands on my channel, you'll be one of the very first ones to watch it, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.